Hey guys, JB here from Alpha Wolf Consulting, coming to you today with the next session in the Alpha Wolf sales, marketing, branding, and business strategy sessions. Don't mind me if they get jumbled up, how I say it. It's pretty much the same thing. But essentially, we're going to continue on from yesterday where we were looking at branding and sort of our messaging throughout our marketing, throughout the sales funnel. So aligning messaging or brand messages from our marketing and promotion all the way through our sales funnel to sort of create this cohesive narrative. So like it's sort of like if you want to think about it like this, like the hooks we're using in our marketing. So if we have a look, man, as soon as I let's start recording, I always start yawning. I think it's just the mind. All right. So let's jump over to brand messaging. So essentially what we want to do is we want to have these short, sharp hooks that we're utilizing in our like our marketing or our sales funnel. Do you sort of get it? Wrong one. So, like for example, oof, it'll be hard to find them, but you know, we want to align different marketing messages that are our short sharp hooks in throughout our sales funnel. So that we've got these highly effective short hooks that sort of break up and allow us to break up our our sales funnel from just being information, 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 and it sort of makes up a bit of the why. So like advanced synaptic pathway development, a process of manually controlling how your synaptic pathways fire. Like, what is that? Have you ever wanted to recreate yourself into who you've always known you could become? Do you sort of get it? So it's sort of like the why, so to speak, but it's like a what and a how at the same time. It's unless your language is really, really basic, like there's going to be why, how, and or why, what, and how within each sentence, depending on how you align like how you speak naturally. Do you sort of get it? So like we can see that it's also really, really good for branding because we've got the same brand imagery again and again and again throughout the sales funnel. So this just allows us to one, reinforce specific messages, but also to reinforce our brand and our presence throughout the sales funnel while also breaking up information so it's not seen as being so information dense. Do you know what I mean? So it's sort of like bit of information, a quote. And I just use quotes because they're the easiest way to transfer high amounts of data or high amounts or complex knowledge in a simple short format that's easy to comprehend and understand. So if I said to you reprogramming your mind, like what does that mean? a process of gaining full control over your thoughts, emotions, or your thoughts and emotions to become your true full potential in this life. Do you sort of get it? Like if I was to explain that in detail to you, I could write you a 10,000 word dissertation on just that. Do you know what I mean? So it's a lot of information because like what is control over your thoughts? What is control over your emotions? Do you sort of get it? But when we use the simplistic language, like we understand that it's controlling my internal thought narrative and controlling my emotional state to reach my full potential in this life. Do you sort of get it? So it's sort of like, anyone can build themselves up to becoming who they've dreamed of becoming. Do you know what I mean? So, like, we're giving simple and short directives that align to the program or the product or service. So, think about it like, and this is an important thing that a lot of people don't utilize, is the effectiveness that, like, these quotes are just me picking a topic and then writing something relevant towards what I'm selling or what I'm promoting. Do you sort of get it? Like becoming whole within life. Do you know what I mean? Like what is becoming whole within life? Like it could be 1,000 different things. Becoming whole within life could be becoming healthy. It could be becoming balanced. But for me, and for what I'm doing, it's a journey of self-discovery and realization that you were never broken. You've always been the person you are seeking to become. Do you sort of get it? So like we're utilizing it for our purpose. So when we think about that, and we'll go through it in a little bit, how to create like a template for them because essentially we don't want to be recreating the mold every time that we do, especially with like branding and marketing and things like that. We want it to be simple and the same sort of sequence again and again and again. So we want the same imagery. We want the same structure and format for the language, or not the language, but for how the data is presented. Does that make sense? So it's like the more structured I can become in terms of how I present information and how I present my brand will, so to speak, like create the appearance or the feeling of consistency. And consistency is what builds trust within a buyer's mind. One sec, I'm just writing this down. So basically, we got building or presenting consistency within a buyer's mind is what builds trust. So the more consistent we are, again and again and again, day after day after day after day, is what builds trust. So it's like if you wanted to understand like why people go to fast food at a higher rate or fast food restaurants at a higher rate than like restaurants and things like that is the consistency of what they're going to get, the expectation. The fast food restaurant really, so to speak, changes its menu. While they have variations within the menu always stays the same. So, like, for example, back in the 80s and the 90s, McDonald's tried to compete with Italian restaurants and do pasta and things like that, and pizza and all of this. But it was a failure because the consistency of the branding and the brand was around burgers and things like that. So it's like, don't it's not to say that you can't vary from what you do, but the consistency of if for 20 to 30 years all I've been doing is burgers and then I try and venture out into pizzas, like it's unaligned with my brand. It's unaligned with the expectation of the consumer base that I have built up. Do you sort of get it? And if I cannot outcompete the expected standard of the marketplace. Do you sort of get it? So, like, if you think about pasta and things like that, where would you buy pasta from? Typically an Italian restaurant. So, how would that Italian restaurant present, and what would be the standard that a consumer or a buyer's expectation is set to for that? So, are they expecting a small portion of pasta? Or are they expecting a large bowl of pasta? Are they expecting, fresh Parmesan cheese, different forms of cheese? Are they expecting, you know, it to be, fried in a pan opposed to, cooked in a saucepan? Like, how is it that the expectation has been set? Do you sort of get it? So if we thought about this in business terms or in like let's say like business services, it's like say I'm a marketing company and I want to branch out and now do marketing and direct sales. It's like I've built a reputation in marketing and generating interest and generating like attention and leads and attracting buyers and things like that. But it's like, how am I going to, if I'm now going to offer direct sales services, so converting leads into qualified buyers, however that may look. It's like, what is the market standard or the standard expectation from the marketplace of what to expect? Do you sort of get it? So, like, it depends on how we're building the business. Okay. So there's two approaches you can take in building the business. We can standardize towards market expectations, or we can go against the status quo. So, like, for example, I go against the status quo because I think the status quo is ineffective. Do you sort of get it? But, like, when we think about, for example, um, team development and business development programs, like, what are we thinking about? Well, we're thinking about like the market expectation is, you know, sales offer, like promotion marketing, like helping them sell more products and things like that. Team development, like so emotional or teaching the individual members of the team how to, perform at a higher rate by understanding the internal game or their internal game. So things like if we were to think in traditional senses, well, traditional sense might be, you know, offer creation, so sales and marketing, and then productivity and performance development. And that would be sort of the two foundational pillars that they would rely on. Do you sort of get it? So like we're helping people operate or perform like their tasks in greater productivity, but we're also helping the business sell and promote more products. So just to understand that, like when I say we're challenging the status quo, like we're not talking about radical change where, I'm selling them a business development program, and in that business development program, I supply them with hot dogs for the next year. Do you sort of get it? Like, I'm not just supplying you with hot dogs and calling that a business development program. Do you sort of get it? Because, like, you could argue if I showed up every day with hot dogs, that would improve team morale and improve productivity. Do you sort of get it? Because people get excited for free shit. So they're willing to do a bit more if they're getting free shit. Do you sort of get it? Like, just understand, like, these sort of programs actually exist where some high level business development coaches and performance development coaches literally show up with pizza. And then they sit there and they ask a couple of questions from each of the staff members, and then they give that data back, and then they say, I've revolutionized your business. Do you sort of get it? It's like showing up with pizza ain't that. But it has psychological benefits just to the same if I show up and I give everyone $1,000. Do you sort of get it? Like I can motivate them, but it's not long term, it's short term. So there's an expiration date on it. So it's what I call hype. Do you get it? So, like, I'm artificially boosting team productivity and performance through hyping them up. But tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, the day after that, the hype goes away. So there's like a linear scale to where they're progressing at a certain performance, and the introduction of something new into the environment elevates and spikes it if it's a positive, or it detracts and negatives it. So if I walked in there and started saying everyone's a piece of shit and all of this, like I'm going to spike it down productivity and things like that. If I walk in and I hand everyone pizza and a can of Coke, I'm gonna spike it up. Do you sort of get it? Because it's like a morale boost, so to speak. So like an important thing to realize about this, like if you want to improve morale, especially through very difficult situations and circumstances, what we need are small or short-term emotional victories. So we need to set out milestones every day to have a certain number of emotional victories, like small emotional victories. An emotional victory could be having coffee and biscuits. So every 2 hours, we stop for 20 minutes and have coffee and biscuits, and then we jump back on. Do you sort of get it? Like those sort of breaks will improve morale and improve productivity because one, they give us a rest and they allow us to sort of decompartmentalize or sort of de-stress, so to speak. And how I learned this was when I was walking across country doing, 40 to 50 kilometers a day. Like most people would look at that and they would think that that is a very hard thing to do, to walk 40 or 50 kilometers day after day. But it's not really. If I walk at an average speed of about 5 kilometers an hour, every 2 hours, I'm covering 10 kilometers. If every 2 hours I stop and have a 10-minute coffee and biscuit break, I'm able to relax, 10 to 15 minutes. I'm able to relax. I'm able to sort of recharge my energy. I'm able to sort of get my mind off it, the action of continuously walking. And then when I move back, I'm able to move at a higher rate. Do you sort of get it? Because I've recharged. I've got, carbohydrates and sugars in my stomach. So I've got more energy and things like that. So just understand, like, if you want to increase productivity, like a cup of coffee and a packet of biscuits every 2 hours. That's it. If you do that, like you will artificially like alter it and you can get into the psychological benefits of it. So it's like if I'm drinking something warm, like heat has a way as a pain reliever or a remedy, but it's also like it's a relaxant. So heat relaxes the muscles and things like that. So if I'm drinking a hot coffee or a hot tea, like the action of drinking it relaxes my core. Do you sort of get it? It relaxes everything about it, but it also relaxes and releases dopamine and things like that. Soda sugars and things like that. Do you sort of get it? That's why I drink so much tea, because it's relaxing me. But it's sort of this understanding. But like if it was like 45 degrees, well, maybe having like, cool drinks or something like that. If we're out on the tools, maybe it's having like a cold can of soft drink and like a sandwich or a burger or something like that. Like whatever it may be. And we don't have to go to the unhealthy things, but it's sort of like for example, like if we're on the tools, like we wouldn't want to, so to speak, be going to McDonald's or something like that and getting a meal from McDonald's every 2 hours because that sort of food has a negative effect on, the on your stomach and sort of makes you feel lethargic and things like that. But like if we had like chicken and salad sandwiches or something like that, and we'd prepared them out, like one, we're able to consume more food, so we're able to continuously top up our carbohydrates. So like for example, the three energy sources that my body will utilize and how it prioritizes it. First is carbohydrates. So, like, my body gets the highest proportion of energy from carbohydrates than it does from fat, than it does from protein. What that means is, should I have no carbohydrates in my body or in my stomach, in my diet, my body will then choose to consume or have to consume fat as the primary fuel source. Fat is less efficient. That like this is how the keto diet, ketosis, is the act of my body predominantly burning fat over carbohydrates. Do you sort of get it? So it's sort of like, but I feel like shit. Do you sort of get it? Like, it's important to realize until I get into it, and like, I've done no carb diets for long periods of time, and you feel like fucking shit. Like if you're trying to go out there and do heavy duty manual labor on no carbs, like good luck. I've done it before. It's not that fun. It's a very, very difficult thing. But like, you know what I mean? So it's like if I'm trying to get productivity on the tools, every 2 hours I want to be carb loading my guys and sort of giving them a 10 to 15-minute break so that they're able to de-stress and they're able to get back into it. Do you sort of get it? So the reason for the 2 hours that I found is that after 2 hours, when doing like exertion, I get exhausted. So like for me, when I was walking across country, every 2 hours, basically like I would start slowing down in my walking because my legs were exhausted. But if I took a 15-minute break and son of a bitch and had some food and carb loaded, well then basically for the next 2 hours my body was utilizing those carbs. So I had a boost in energy. Do you sort of get it? So, like, how this works is that, like, when I'm refreshed and setting off, I can walk at about 6 to 6.5 kilometers an hour while towing a buggy or a you know, like a trolley with me. Without a trolley, I can walk at about 8 kilometers an hour, roughly, if I'm keeping a marching pace. But basically, after 2 hours, what would happen is I would drop to about 4.5 or 4 kilometers an hour. So it would take me 3 hours to do what would take me 2 hours to do. Do you sort of get it? So, like, we understand, like, being on the tools, being on the job, trying to push through without any breaks diminishes the returns on the effort we put in because the effort we put in is less, but we don't notice it. So it felt like I was walking at the same speed. If I was walking at 8 kilometers an hour, if I was walking at 4 kilometers an hour. Do you sort of get it? Like the only difference was, like when I was mapping my progression, I was moving at a slower rate. It was taking me longer to go places. Now, this is just, rough. So, like, for example, like there was like it was rarely ever a day where it was flat terrain. It was usually up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So we just understand, like, when I'm giving you these rough sort of estimates, I would have been at about 6.5 to 7 kilometers an hour pulling the trolley energized when I was on flat terrain. Do you sort of get it? So we just understand, like, if we're trying to get different forms of productivity and things like that in our staff, different forms of productivity in ourselves, what we want to do is we want to continually have these small emotional victories that help me to stay in a positive frame of mind or a heightened frame of mind. Do you sort of get it? When I'm drinking a cup of tea with sugar in it, like I'm getting the sugar. Do you know what I mean? If I'm having a cup of coffee that I enjoy. So it's sort of like a small emotional victory might be, for example, getting flavored coffee. And every 2 hours I have a different flavored coffee or my favorite flavor of coffee or whatever it may be. Do you know what I mean? I might have a sandwich, I might have a couple of biscuits, I might have some fruit, like however it may be. So, like, whatever I'm doing in terms of like the tasks and things like that, like, for example, I wouldn't want to have a heavy carb meal every 2 hours if I'm doing office work or mental work, like mind work, because the act of my body having to, so to speak, um, process the carbohydrates will take away from my brain's ability to function clearly. So, like, if I'm trying to get the most out of my mind, I want to be functioning at a higher rate, or I want to have mental clarity, like a higher rate of mental clarity, opposed to if I'm doing manual labor where I want to have a higher rate of, energy and things like that. So just realize, like, the reason I'm telling you all of this is because, like, don't get mistaken. Do you sort of get it? Like, I've done more than most people. So, like, when I tell you something, it's because I've gone out there and done it for thousands of hours. So I can talk on it for a long period of time. Do you sort of get it? Joe Blow down the street from XYZ Consulting that brings some pizza and asks a few stupid questions because he heard it on a podcast of this is how the best in the business do it. Like he's full of shit. Do you sort of get it? It's an illusion. So just don't be sort of fooled by the illusions of others in terms of everyone's going to tell you they're an expert, but very few can do things without imitating other people. Do you sort of get it? Like, I can promise you this, no one runs my strategies. Everyone thinks it's ineffective, but it's not ineffective. It's just the majority of people and the business and all of that is fucking full of illusions. Would you like me to show you what I mean by that? So if we have a look on LinkedIn, LinkedIn's the best way to get a representation for how fucking pretentious business is. Do you sort of get it? So very few people, and these are meant to be the business professionals, the corporate professionals, blah, 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 blah. Like, very few people actually do branding, actually do marketing. The majority of people just repost shit from other people because it's trending. Do you sort of get it? So, like, just understand that, like, this whole idea of one sec, we'll wait for the thing to finish loading. But this whole idea of like these experts in marketing and all this bullshit, like it's just a fucking illusion. Do you sort of get it? Marketing is just communicating to your buyer. Like, you don't need an expert to know how to communicate to your buyer. So, like, for example, do you sort of get it? Like, this is good because it's a product demonstration video. Do you sort of get it? This, this is just bullshit. Do you sort of get it? Like, maybe he wrote them out, maybe he didn't. It's not marketing, it's not branding. Like, all he's doing is giving you a couple of different, like, write a high trusted LinkedIn post that attracts leads without selling. Like, yeah, right, poser. Like, do you sort of get it? Alex Hormozy, like, at the present point in time, one of the best in business and building one of the best brands in business and things like that. Do you sort of get it? So it's like doing well. Do you sort of get it? Like, this is branding. He's showing you the business of all the businesses he's working with or whoever he's working with, and then he's showing you the two main figureheads of the business. Do you sort of get it? And like you can go through, and it's good because it's authentic marketing. It's not, you know, like this sort of stuff is stupid. Having people in green costumes or those green onesie suits because his book's green, like that's not marketing. That's just trying to get attention. You sort of get it? It's a bit ridiculous because it's like having a business mascot. It's like if your business needs a mascot, and you are not that like personal brand that the business is leveraged on, like what are you doing with your life? Do you sort of get it? So like don't fall into those traps of doing stupid things just to get attention because it detracts away from not to say your credibility, but it detracts away from like the authenticity of your brand. Like if, for example, Alex Hormozy was super keen on wearing those fucking green suits, and every day he was out and about in one of those green fucking suits, it would be authentically on brand. Evidently, he doesn't, because it only came about because of this book launch. So, evidently, it's a cheap tactic that he's utilizing to try and like create an identity around the book. I've got these green men. Do you sort of get it? It's just it's irrelevant when it comes to business because it's like why not just go out there and give people the money? So like however much money you're wasting on these three people in fucking green suits, like why not just give people that money to purchase your book? Do you sort of get it? Because people don't want to pay people to buy their products, but you're paying people to try and create the illusion of a product. Do you sort of get it? Like you'd be better off just going to people and saying, I'm going to give you $5. You should really buy my book. Do you sort of get it? Like, don't be like Westpac and have a faceless brand. Do you sort of get it? When we're talking about branding, this is not branding. They think it's branding, but it's sort of like, I don't really give a fuck about Westpac. Just because they got three loaves of bread, I'm not doing business with them. Do you sort of get it? Like I do business with the bank that I've banked through. Like I used to bank through Westpac, but I don't like Westpac because they have less services and higher rates and blah blah blah. Do you sort of get it? But the truth is, like I like Commonwealth Bank's investment platform. So I go through Commonwealth Bank. Do you sort of get it? Like understand this doesn't do shit. Do you sort of get it? But they're trying to, say we're the local bankers or business bankers, i.e., bakeries. You should come and do business with us. A lot more effective would be a picture if they build the brand around the CEO or around the directors or around the managers of the individual branches. Like if they actually put some effort into branding and had it as the manager of a branch, and let's say I'm in Toowoomba and it's the Toowoomba branch manager going out there and having meetings with, you know, bakeries, small businesses, a lot more fucking effective than it takes it takes a little Westpac. Like, do you sort of get it? But like this is what the experts will tell you is branding. No, it's not. It's just a lazy way of trying to utilize subconscious cueing to say, if you're a baker, then you should identify because they've got the Westpac logo with bread. Like they've got some flour there. That means they made it fresh. They didn't just buy these. Do you sort of get it? Like it's all just the showmanship and pageantry of marketing. It's not marketing, it's the pageantry of branding because they're trying to make it look authentic. Because we've got a tea towel, but the tea towel is red and white because that's the brand colors. Like, do you sort of get it? It's all just illusions and pageantry of this idea of using imagery to cue associational bonds. Do you sort of get it? It's old. It's outdated. See this sort of stuff? Like generic image that is trying to show the different queuing between technologies and things like that. And like correlation between screen size and your importance in the company. So if you've got two monitors, you're less important than if you've got a mobile phone. If you do your work on two monitors, like you're not as good as someone who does their work on a mobile phone. Yeah, fuck off, cunt. Do you sort of get it? Like they're full of shit. And it's just some generic person that's trying to say some bullshit because they've seen this photo. Do you sort of get it? So like we get rid of them so we don't have to see them anymore. It's hard because we always have to see them. But it's like, do you know what I mean? Like old school Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, do you sort of get it? Like, how come it is that specific people understand and have understood branding? Do you sort of get it for a long period of time? And the majority of people don't. Like AI imagery. Like, get out of here. Do you sort of get it? Like Grant Cardone doing well. But you'll notice a thing that at present, Alex Hormozy, even though he doesn't have as big of an audience or following, potentially, I haven't really done the numbers, but as Grant Cardone, he has higher impact because of his branding and messaging. It's an important thing to realize because, like, for example, like, we all think about this idea of like the best in business and all of that, like they're doing so well, like 74 like likes and shares and things like that. It's 12 hours old, but he's got an audience size of 654,000. Do you sort of get it? So like that's like 0.0000001% of his audience size. Do you sort of get it? So it's like if you have 100 people following you and one person likes your content, like not to say your content is better than Grant Cardone's, but it's to say that like in performance wise, like do you sort of get it? You're performing quite well. So just realize, it's not to say his content doesn't perform very well, but it's just to say that these so-called experts, like they look like experts because they have such big followings, but their followings don't have the same level of engagement. So 9 hours ago, okay, I've tapped into my market. We'll just do a quick analysis between this. So Grant Cardone's talking about how to scale a business, interviewing someone who knows who that is. Alex Hormozy's talking about, like, I love this excuse. I've tapped my market. So he's talking about like market tap. 9 hours against 12 hours, 414-ish likes and things like that, 313 comments, five reposts. 12 hours, 74 comments, 74 likes, 12 comments, seven reposts. So, like, we can see that evidently, like Alex Hormozy's got 800 and something thousand followers. So, like, literally at 4,000, oh, well, at 8,000 likes, he would be at 1% of his audience responding, like a 1% response rate. So he's got 0.00005% roughly. Could be off, could be on. But basically, like, do you sort of get it? Like, everyone, like, the algorithms will tell you, like, this is content that's highly engaging, but it's not highly engaging. If you have 100 followers and one like, your content is 10 times more as engaging as this. Not to say that it's not, but it's just this illusion on marketing that branding and marketing is all about like this bullshit of, having having specific like visual cues and all of this, having the most, refined content. Like evidently that's not true. Do you sort of get it? So just don't fall for the trap of, people saying this and that because you got someone with a generic bullshit image. Do you sort of get it? You've got, oh, get out of here. We don't care about that. But you got people on LinkedIn putting up generic bullshit images that are literally just, do you sort of get it? It's meaningless. Do you sort of get it? It has more engagement than Alex Hormozy's post. Do you sort of get it? So just realize like attention isn't marketing. attention isn't branding. Like, branding is the language, branding is the presentation of how you present, branding is, you know, like your, so to speak, color scheme, if you like colors, like it's pretty much everything. It's the language that you use, it's what you talk about, it's how you talk about it. Do you sort of get it? So, like, don't be fooled into thinking that this is marketing. That ain't marketing. That's just some poser putting up some bullshit image that's trying to get attention. But nothing about it is authentic. Nothing about it is expertise. But this is the idea is that this sort of shit is like marketing. It's not marketing, but they put in these different messaging to try and like make it, and they're utilizing the video to try and get engagement, and then they're hoping and wishing that someone will, you know, that someone will click on this and read it and whatever. Do you sort of get it? Like, when we're talking about it, we're not talking about doing this sort of stupid shit. Like putting a quote and then saying like that quote's written on a wall when we know that this fella didn't take the photo. Do you sort of get it? And then he's got bullshit written, and then he's just got a generic post that he's taken that's high engagement, that's, you know, this shit and that shit. Like, it's just like when we talk about marketing and sales and branding and all of that, whatever you do, don't don't believe these so-called experts. They're full of shit. Do you sort of get it? So we see that Alex Hormozy, he's evidently doing a quote out of his new book, Money Models Help You Get There, or Money Models That'll Help You Get There, or whatever. So he's gone in and altered his branding to put the quote over the color scheme of the book. Do you sort of get it, to subconsciously cue that this comes from this book? Does that make sense? So, like, it's very important when we look through the amount of just garbage that people put up there in terms of, you know, it's very few do like this, like an authentic video, authentic, you know, information. But when we say authentic and all of that, like, who knows? Like, evidently, like he could be using like clickbait, like specific key phrases and things like that. Like, I haven't had a look too much, but do you sort of get it? Sales statistics, generic, and it's sourced from the National Sales Executives Association, not in the National Sales Executives Association. Got some bullshit about the post. Do you sort of get it? Not sales, not marketing, not branding. Nothing about this is branding. Do you sort of get it? But people on LinkedIn have been conditioned to this sort of behavior for so long that this is what corporate thinks is professionalism. It's not. So we start to realize when we're thinking about branding and when we're thinking about marketing, we don't want to be utilizing other people's brands and other people's marketing to try and get short-term results like those posers on LinkedIn. They're just posers. Do you sort of get it? There's a reason that, for example, Alex Hormozy, if that's how you say his name, gets higher engagement than most other people in his niche and industry is because, like, his content or his branding is more on point, but also speaks directly to a specific segment of the audience. So just realize, like, who are you trying to speak to? Are you trying to be like, for example, if we jump over to Facebook, I don't think it'll be good, but like, are we trying to speak to ah too difficult. But are we trying to speak to the mass audience like Alex Hormozy's doing? So, like, how you can tell if someone's speaking, who the audience they're speaking to, will be based around the price points of their products and services. If I'm trying to talk to the mass or the majority, I want to be talking about free products, free services, or low cost products and services so that I'm able to include as many people as I can. If I'm talking about a $10,000 service, it's only going to align to a very small amount. Do you sort of get it? Of the population of the audience. So we have the total population of the audience, and then we have the different segments based on the different sort of, ways of segmenting it. So we can have price point, we can have quality, we can have buyer biases and things like that. We can have personal biases. Like, for example, some people in business only want to deal with women or only want to deal with women experts. Do you sort of get it? So, like, women in business generally want to deal with other women when it comes to, like, let's say, like business consulting services. So there's a natural tendency and bias for them to um, like qualify out all males and sort of hyper focus in on female business consultants. Do you sort of get it? Because it's just who I align to will be who I identify with. So when we're doing branding and marketing, what we're trying to do is create points of identification. Do you sort of get it? Like, I identify as someone who strives for greatness. So I'm putting out there, striving for greatness, a truth that should you reach for greatness in life, that is reaching greatness in life. There is no difference. If you get the result of greatness, if you reach for greatness, same thing. Why? Because I'm breaking a paradigm that results are the equal of your effort. They're not. If I go out hunting and I don't catch anything, if I go out hunting and I catch something, like, just because I caught something doesn't mean I'm a better or a worse hunter. Or just because I didn't catch something doesn't mean I'm a worse hunter. Just because I caught something doesn't mean I'm a better hunter. Do you sort of get it? So, like, if I'm looking at it over the short period of I need to catch something to eat today, if I don't catch something to eat today, I failed. Do you sort of get it? If I'm looking at it over the next 2 years, well, there are going to be ebbs and flows where sometimes there's a lot of game around, sometimes there's not much game around, sometimes there's more game around, sometimes there's not much game around. Sometimes I'm lucky and in the right place at the right time. Sometimes I'm unlucky and I'm not in the right place at the right time. Do you sort of get it? So we just understand the frame of mind and the frame of perspective. If I'm thinking about short-term results, there are fixes between winning and losing. Results are the outcome. So if I'm thinking about getting sales today, I either get sales or I don't get sales. If I'm thinking about being the best at sales, should I get sales every day does not guarantee that I'm the best at sales. Maybe my product or service is just well underpriced, like the majority of them. Do you sort of get it? Like they all do this. Like for example, Alex Hormozy had one of the biggest book sales or something like that, where he broke a Guinness record for book sales, but his book was well underpriced compared to market comparison. So it's like, yeah, of course, if I'm underpricing my books or my products and services to give the illusion of value, like, yeah, of course I'm going to do better. Like, if I sold a Ferrari for $2,000, like I could sell 100,000 Ferraris. Do you sort of get it? Like I could sell 1 million Ferraris at $2,000. There'd be 1 million people who'd buy a Ferrari for $2,000. Like it doesn't make what I'm doing me any better at what I'm doing. I'm taking something of extreme immense value and I'm devaluing it to try and hit more market mass. So it's sort of like, for example, take Bugatti. Bugattis are worth maybe 40, 50, $100,000 because they use cheap and moderate products. Like they're not an exclusive brand, but they've created the illusion that they are an exclusive brand. So they charge, one, two, three, $4 million for a car. And the car has the exact same parts as a 60 or an $80,000 Audi or a BMW. Do you sort of get it? So, like, I could take Bugatti and then go and sell Bugattis at, let's say, $200,000 each, and I could sell 100 times the amount that Bugatti could sell. And I could make and generate a lot of money off of it. Do you sort of get it? Would I now be the best car salesman in the world? No, because I'm taking something that is of perceived high value and I'm devaluing it to try and sell more of it. So, like, for example, we'll say on Alex Hormozy, but like he wrote a book. Like, what is the cost of goods for a book? If you take out like the author's time of writing it and you just look at the physical book, well, it's maybe, anywhere from $1 to, $5, we would argue, cost of goods, if we're talking about mass like volumes and high volumes. So it's like in essence, he's taking, and I don't know what price point he sold it at, but let's just assume he sold it at $10. So like he's taking something that costs $5 and he's selling it at $10, but the perceived value of the information is, let's say, $10,000. Do you sort of get it? Like that's how much information he's putting in there. So like, well, we probably wouldn't say, oh yeah, we would probably say anywhere from 100 to $10,000. Like, because if we're talking about very, very high level business concepts and ideas and action plans and things like this and actionable ways of doing things, like in essence, it's his consulting services that he is providing you in the book. So it's sort of like it's taking something from $10,000 and selling it for, let's say, $10. Do you sort of get it? So just realize the ones who sell to the masses, like they make more money, but it's short term, not long term. Do you sort of get it? Not to say that they can't make or generate money, like because it's all perception. So pricing, branding, sales, marketing, authority, all of this is perception. So, should I sell something that's perceived to be highly valuable at a discounted price, I can actually increase the price of my personal services. Do you sort of get it? Or I can sell my knowledge, what I've created, my process, my practices, my books at a very high price and have it like exclusive. Do you sort of get it? So I can give it to the masses and then try and generate social proof and proof of concept and all of that, and sort of then try and sell exclusive packages to, you know, the elite and things like that, and use the social proof of selling a high value product at a low price. But that doesn't make me like good. Do you sort of get it? Like, not to say that he's not good or the best or, you know, that. Like, it's not to say that it's easy, but it's just to say that, like, it's not like if you're talking about the best in sales, if you're talking about the best in marketing, like, they don't need to use those tricks to get it. So, like, for example, Rolls-Royce don't need to give away free Rolls-Royces or discounted Rolls-Royce to sell Rolls-Royce. Do you sort of get it? Like, their brand is like strong. Do you sort of get it? Like, they don't need to discount price to sell like more because the price is what sells the product. If they lower the price, the product becomes worth less in the mind of the buyers. So just understand that, like, it's just psychological framing. So, like, for example, I go the opposite direction and without quote unquote social proof, because social proof is irrelevant, it's illogical. Like, no one can do what I can do. No one can say what I can say better than I can say it. So, like, what I say about my brand, what I say about my products, what I say about my services trumps everyone else. I don't really care what other people think. Do you sort of get it? Because I'm the only one who's been through my programs and done my programs to the extent I've done them. So everyone else is a poser in comparison if they were to try and talk on them. Do you sort of get it? Because, like, when we're talking about this, we're talking about hundreds to thousands of hours. Like, other people haven't put that effort into understanding this. So, like, what they have to say on it doesn't really hold any weight or value in relation to it. But without social proof, without this, without that, I go straight for high ticket because it's harder, but it's also easier because there's less competing for high ticket than there is competing for low ticket. So, low ticket, I have to create the perception that I'm giving the most value for the lowest price, typically free. Do you sort of get it? Whereas high ticket, what I'm doing is I'm having to create the most exclusive offer or premium offer or brand or business, but I'm also doing it at the highest price. So it means that there's less buyers. But should I understand at the highest level what I do, then what happens is I'm like, for example, when it comes to reprogramming your mind and understanding the conscious and unconscious mind and how to conduct advanced synaptic pathway development. Like, majority of people don't even understand what that means. Like, I understand it better than anyone else in the world. Like, there are people who understand psyche, which is psychology kinestology, which is one of the foundations that I created my practices around. So they're around scientific and, like, yeah, we'll just call them scientific processes and experiential processes. So what I can see, touch, and feel and know is true. Do you sort of get it? So, like, for example, behavioral conditioning. If you understand that, if you understand Pavlov's dog, you now understand the power of behavioral conditioning on the mind. So everything that you want in life, every who you want to be in life, you now have the ability to go out and create it. Yeah, good luck to you. Most people don't know how to do that. They can't take a complex theoretical framework or scientific framework and then apply it into their experiential understanding to create a product or a service that gets results or a practice that gets results. Do you sort of get it? So it's just like in understanding this, like if I go out there and devalue my information and give it for free or as cheap as possible, it holds no value. Do you sort of get it? If it's accessible to everyone, it has no value. Do you sort of get it? Like, because the value is a perceived value, it's not, there's no such thing as real value. So, what Alex Hormozy had to do for him to be able to sell to the masses his extreme value at the lowest cost is first he had to go and get validation by selling a business for $46 million. If he hadn't sold a business for $46 million, no one would listen to him. Do you sort of get it? Like Gary Vaynerchuk had to go out and create VaynerMedia before people would listen to him. Do you sort of get it? But he had the validation of 10 or 20 years of doing wine library, of doing this, doing that. Do you sort of get it? So it's very important to understand this, that like if you try and emulate what the so-called experts do and practice, it doesn't work because it only works if there's a perception that you are someone of high value and high worth. But if you're consistently discounting your value, your price, your product's worth to try and gain people's like validation, like you're not of high worth. Does that make sense? So like to be the best salesman in the world, like you've got to be able to sell the most expensive product or service without any discount. Do you sort of get it? Like you've got to be able to sell something at a much higher premium than other people do. So, like, for example, like with what I do, so like reprogramming your subconscious mind, taking control over shifts in your emotional state, so gaining full control of your emotional state, understanding how to use language to biohack your mind, like. And when I said biohack, we're talking about biochemical responses. Happiness is an emotional state or a psychological state of being, an intellectual state. I'm thinking that I'm happy. The biochemical response of me releasing dopamine, releasing serotonin is the physical sensation of happiness. So just understand that when I'm saying use language to biohack your mind, I'm saying use language to hack your biochemical responses to feel physical sensations of different emotions that you want in any moment. Does that sort of make sense? To 99.9999999% of people, it doesn't make sense because they don't understand it. It makes logical sense, but they don't understand what it actually means. So for me to try and convince them of the value of it, it will never happen because these practices rely on the participant's agreement that it works. So if the participant doesn't believe that they can reprogram their subconscious mind, they won't put in the fucking effort to do it. Trust me. If they don't believe they can take control of their emotional states, they won't put in the effort. They'll say that they're putting in the effort, but they won't put in the fucking effort. Do you sort of get it? So, like, just understand that people will talk shit if you lower and devalue your product or service. If you don't lower and devalue your product and service and they pay $10,000 for the program, they're going to put in the effort of someone who has spent $10,000. So, very important to understand this when we're talking about personal, professional, business development, like team development, all of this sort of stuff. When we're talking about getting the individual in alignment with belief that this will work, they have to pay the most premium price. Without the premium price, the whole practice falls apart because if you give someone gold for free, they don't give a fuck. Like, look at Trax NYC. Do you know what I mean? That jeweler in New York that walks around trying to hand out free gold. People think it's a scam. Do you sort of get it? Like, that's how people are. They're full of fucking shit. So, like, the only way you can break that is if you've had such a victory that people perceive you to now being the best in the world. But it doesn't mean you're the best in the world because if you cannot sell your $10,000 book at 10 fucking $1,000, you are not a good salesperson. I don't care what anyone says. If you have to devalue or discount your price to sell your product or service, you are not good at sales. Do you sort of get it? If you have to use free offers or if you have to use price manipulation to sell your product or service, you are not a good salesperson. If you have to use manipulation or subconscious cueing to sell your product or service, you are not a good salesperson. You're full of shit. You're an amateur. Do you sort of get it? So as great as Alex Hormozy is, and as much as he's outsold me, technically speaking, like that's the thing. Like it's short term. Do you sort of get it? Not to say he didn't put in the work for it, but just that model runs on short term. Because when I've proven this model on, for example, my 12-month program being $10,000, like once people understand the true value of what they're getting for the price point, it will sell itself. Once the brand and the business brand is built up, it will sell itself. Do you sort of get it? Because I'm not focused in on like trying to appeal to the masses. I'm focused in on trying to appeal to the ones who actually want the product or the service. Does that make sense? Like, so just understand this, like what we're trying to do is we're trying to focus in like so being an amateur and being the best. There's a difference. An amateur focuses on the results that they get from the actions that they take. The best focusing on the actions they take and how they can refine those actions to becoming better and better and better and better. Do you sort of get it? So, like by that definition, Alex Hormozy would be the best because that's the approach he takes. But he does it for the short-term gain. And short-term gain is devaluing your product or service to reach larger audiences rather than focusing in on hyper specializing in a specific niche or industry or audience. Does that sort of make sense? So, like, just realize like when we try to go to the masses, what we have to do is we have to sort of alter and you can see it through everyone. Like, for example, if you take Sadhguru and his inner engineering course, like I'm pretty sure it started off as a 4 month process or a 6 month process, and people couldn't handle that. Only a few people could handle that. So he brought it down to, I think it was like a 4 week process, and it was still too long. And then he brought it down to a 48-hour process. Do you sort of get it? And people still think it's too long. Like, where's the value? Do you sort of get it? Like the value at a certain point in time, when you reduce it and reduce it and reduce it, it becomes nothing. It becomes valueless. So, like understanding the value, and that's why I do 12-month programs. Do you sort of get it? But like my 12-month programs have like lifetime access. Do you sort of get it? So you get like lifetime access to like the weekly group sessions or the rest of your fucking life. Do you sort of get it? Because anything less wouldn't be true change, wouldn't be true transformation. If I just did 12 sessions for 12 months, like that's not going to do jack and that's not going to do shit. If I did one session every day for 12 months, yeah, that would do something. Do you sort of get it? Like it's very important to understand this that hmm, that I could actually do that. Do you sort of get it? Maybe I'll do an exclusive offer on that. And that would be, let's have a look. Oh, well, it would be 356. Hmm. 356. Pretty sure that's how many days are in a year. Would be 320 hours. Oh no. Divide by 60. No. 56 times 1.5 be 534 hours. Hmm. Something to think about. Hmm. Hmm. I'm just thinking about the time. Do you know what I mean? And then how many clients I would be able to have for it. So, like, when you think about it like this, when you're doing your offers and all of that, like, if I'm doing an exclusive offer, I want to do a one-time offer that you will not get anywhere else. So, if I'm doing 356 sessions over 12 months, you won't get that anywhere else. You sort of get it? And then if I had that by 10 people, 3,500 sessions. So that would be 10 hours a day, 11 hours a day. So we'd have to do it by 5 people. Divided that by 52 would be 34 hours a week. Yeah, that's about right. So then we would look at price point. See, and that could be roughly $20,000. And that would still be well above anything on the marketplace. Mm, it's 1.5, 7.5 hours a day. Very interesting. But this is what I mean by when you're doing these sort of programs or services or products, like when you want to do an exclusive offer, like we want to do something that is dramatic. 5 times 3, 5, 6 session, and sort of, yeah, 12-month program. And just sort of like, for example, if I make it, let's say I make it 20,000 or 7.5 hours per day times 356, 2,000 divide by 12 equals 200 hours of thing. Divide that by 4. For 55 hours a week, that would be about 100 grand, roughly. Hmm. 20,000 or 2,000 a month. So it's like that. Think about it like if I was to do, for example, for September, a one-off program for 30 days, or sell a one-off program for 30 days and did one session a day, that'd be pretty cool. 20,000 annually for the program, or 2,000 a month, which would be 24,000 for the annual. Might be something fun to do. But yeah, so like we can give immense and extreme value and sort of work it out to like create something that like cannot be replicated. Does that sort of make sense? So we're able to create a program that gives someone the highest level. Um, See, it would have to be more than 20,000, mm, but 2,000 a month. Yeah, yeah, that would be enough. Hmm. That's something I might do up today. Yeah. So, like, for example, if we were to do that, 356. How many days in a year? Let's find out. Dang, dang you. I'm pretty sure it's 356. Oh, 365. So like let's do it minus 365 divide by 365 times 350 would be 127.50. So we would want it to be at be 30,000. And then 3,000. Awesome. So yeah. So it's sort of like how we would go about creating the most exclusive offer, and sort of we're able to do it in a way that I am not diminishing from this program. It's I'm going to offer an exclusive program that is far higher value, but far more intensive. So, like for a lot of people, like one session a month is what they want. Do you get it? But for someone who wants more, so that would be 36. For someone that wants more, would be far more valuable. So, yeah, I'm gonna get that done today. And then it just allows me a new thing to market. Do you sort of get it? So it's sort of like in marketing and branding, it's sort of like we're creating this idea of, well, not so much an idea, but like we just want to constantly have products or services or things to talk about. So it's like when we think about it in two-dimensional, it's like I have one product or service that I offer. I sell boats and just boats, 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 boats. Or we can create different products and services that branch off of our main products and services, but also different products and services that are like completely different, like becoming a master of sales. You know what I mean? Alpha Wolf, business accelerator program. Do you know what I mean? Revolutionizing your revenue. Like, so we just understand that, hmm, just thinking how to position it. But like we just understand that like how we how we seek to position the offer will determine sort of how the offer is perceived, so to speak. But we always want to have different offers so that we can be constantly doing things while, other people do nothing and just wait for it. Do you sort of get it? Like they do one post a month, one post a week. one post every 3 days. What we want to be able to do is consistently do 10 or so posts. All right. Well, that's going to finish off this one, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks so much. Bye.